hope you're doing well. I've had a lot of changing backgrounds recently, and that is because half the time I'm at my boyfriend's house. I go between there and my place. This is my place. This is my apartment that I'm moving out of. That's why I have a super creepy background and a possible echo. So I apologize. This isn't my new apartment. This is actually my older apartment that I'm leaving, and the things have left the building before I have. Don't worry, I still have a bed. I'm not sleeping on the floor or anything. I still have bedroom furniture. But my backgrounds will probably be changing a lot in the next few weeks. I apologize about that. But I thought the lighting was kind of cool here. I've never filmed here, so I thought I would give this a shot. And you can look at my cat house back there. Isn't that lovely? But we're going to talk about the Biden presidency. Some things have happened within the past 24 hours, so we're just going to check in and see how it's going. I think we have officially entered into the I told you so phase of the presidency, so we're going to talk about that a little bit. What just happened with a meeting with some White House officials and China, it was not too good. And then what happened earlier today as President Joe Biden was boarding Air Force One. So we're going to take a look back at that and just talk about the overall feeling with what is going on in our country, this and that. So let's get started. But first, let's go down memory lane. And when I said the memes are just writing themselves, let's just do a real life meme and look at how it started with Biden. So I'm going to play you this clip of Biden talking about his agility and poking fun at Trump.
Look at how he steps and look how I step. Watch how I run up ramps and he stumbles down ramps. Okay, come on.
And let's look at what happened earlier today as Biden was boarding Air Force One. I mean, he made it up the stairs. That is the good thing. If you didn't catch it, he fell up the stairs not one time, but 3 times going up the stairs. Now, it is quite an awful thing to make fun of an older gentleman who is falling up the stairs. And to give him credit, I've heard that those are quite treacherous stairs. Apparently, President Trump used to actually, like under the radar, give Obama props for how elegantly he went up the stairs. It was President Trump, I think himself, that said, you fall one time and that is all anyone will play over and over and over again. And we know that happened a lot of times with President Trump. There was the little gaffe he did taking a sip of water. He used both hands. People talked about that for days. And there was one time where he walked slowly down a ramp and everyone laughed at that. Yet the same people are oddly silent about this situation. And this goes into something deeper. Everyone wants to know what is going on. Is he physically okay? Is he mentally okay? And seeing things like this is probably not the best, especially when, I don't know if you heard, and this is what we're going to talk about as well, there was a meeting with China in which China called us weak. So you can see with all of those things together, this is not a great look for us, for the entire world. But let's talk about what happened in this meeting with China. So I pulled this from the Daily Wire. Biden faces backlash after humiliating China meeting. Incredible incompetence. Biden is weak. So these are the criticisms that Biden and us are getting. And it says, Democrat President Joe Biden faced significant backlash on Friday following a meeting that his administration had with Chinese communist officials on U.S. soil, a meeting that was widely panned as tense, chaotic, and disastrous. The meeting in Alaska came at a request of the Biden administration and was their attempt at trying to restart bilateral relationships with China. Instead, after addressing some issues that the administration had with China, China openly mocked and attacked the U.S. Chinese officials told Biden's administration that the U.S. does not have qualification to say that it wants to speak to China from a position of strength, and that whether judged by population scale or trend of the world, the Western world does not represent global opinion, global public opinion. China analyst Gordon Chang responded to the meeting by saying that China did not come to Alaska to talk to the Biden administration. They came to dictate, Chang said. China's arrogant and insecure leaders are their most dangerous deterrents. Deterrence is failing. Biden's most urgent task is to reestablish it. Biden is weak, and many other countries are happy about it, acting former Director of National Intelligence Richard Grenell said. And the woke U.S. media is too partisan to report fairly on this administration, basically. While not directly calling out the Biden's performance at the meeting, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo wrote on Twitter, "Strength deters bad guys. Weakness begets war." The meeting was with our Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, and they met with representatives of the Chinese regime. And the meeting started out. So this is another article from the Daily Wire, and it goes into the exact dialogue if you want to see exactly what was said. So I'll link that below. But the gist of the meeting was Anthony Blinken started welcoming everyone and thanking them for coming. And then he went on to start criticizing China, but went in hard with China. And China responded with basically like, who the heck do you think you are? Your culture is not winning. Western culture is not winning. We're winning. We as China have a unified people. We have completely eliminated poverty. There's no more poverty in China. We're a unified country. He's basically saying that we're winning, and he called the U.S. weak and unqualified to point fingers or criticize anyone else. They even brought up BLM talking points. As I'm watching footage from this meeting that we had with China, and while I'm reading about it and putting this together, I immediately thought back, and this just recently happened, I immediately thought back to this segment that was on Real Time with Bill Maher, where he was talking about exactly this same thing. It's almost like he just predicted the future somehow. So this is an article from Deadline where they're talking about Bill Maher, and it says, Bill Maher gives China the royals treatment on Real Time, calls Americans by comparisons a silly people. The reason they're saying he gives China the royals treatment is because everyone was talking about that interview with the royal family and all kinds of stuff, but no one was talking about this pretty big problem that we have or are going to have if we don't get our stuff together. But this is some of the things that he said on that segment. He goes, "We're not losing to China," said Maher on HBO Friday night. It was Friday night. "We lost. We're just waiting for the returns to come in." That was a part of a scathing New Rules segment where he called Americans a silly people. You are not going to win the battle for the 21st century if you are a silly people. And Americans are a silly people. That's the classic phrase from Lawrence of Arabia, when Lawrence tells his allies that as long as they stay a bunch of squabbling tribes, they will remain a silly people. Well, we are the silly people. You know who doesn't care that there's a stereotype of a Chinese man in a Dr. Seuss book? China. All 1.4 billion of them could give a crouching tiger flying F because they're not a silly people. We all know China does bad stuff, but there's got to be something between a totalitarian government who knows what to do and a representative government that can't do anything at all. He goes further, and I highly recommend finding and watching that segment, but I don't think I have ever agreed with Bill Maher more than I agree with him on this subject. We are a silly people. China is teaching their kids to be proud of their country and teaching their kids reading, writing, and arithmetic. We are teaching our kids critical race theory. We're teaching them to hate their country, to hate themselves, and to hate their classmates. We are a silly people. We have a crisis at the border right now, and our president and the vice president are doing a tour to teach people about the vaccine. Look at this. This is what happened earlier today with Kamala Harris, trying to explain the importance of this tour that they're doing to educate people about the vaccine.
As President, the White House has said repeatedly that this is a very popular law. If that's the case, why is it important to get out and sell it?
It's not selling. It's literally letting people know their rights, right? It's kind of like you buy a product, you've already been sold on the product, but you need some directions on the box usually, right?
We are a silly people. We, in the middle of a pandemic, record high unemployment. We still can't send our kids back to school. We're being restricted on our travel, and we just opened up the southern border. We don't have a southern border, by the way. I don't know if you noticed. There is no southern border. Who does that to themselves? Think about it. We obviously know the answer, we do, but seriously think about itself. You need merely an elementary education to see that this is bonkers. Who does? China is getting stronger by the second, and we're putting pronouns on the White House website. That's what we're doing. We are a silly people. We are putting woke politics and identity politics over everything. We are a silly people. None of that strengthens our country as a whole, especially in the middle of a pandemic when that's where our priorities lie. We're a silly people. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. And if anyone, I actually haven't, and I guarantee you as well, I guarantee you a lot of my friends that voted for Biden, I guarantee they think that he's doing an excellent job and that we're in this great new era and everything is just going to be just daisies and kumbaya. But let me know what you guys think. And if you have anyone close to you that voted for Biden, I would be really curious to know how they think everything is going. But I will see you guys later. Bye.